So the reason I have a lot to say, first and foremost, this is me specifically, is because there were some indications that Roz and Taj had something to do with or was somewhat responsible for Sister Corinne Gaines being shot down by the Baltimore policy enforcers. Because what was implied, because this particular sister was learning. Some things she didn't specifically say she was a Moor. She didn't mention R.B. Bay in any way. However, these cowardice activities, took a chance to jump on them in a way that I feel is absolutely disrespectful. It has to be acknowledged. It has to be addressed because it's a dirty implication that's not true. So what I'm saying is this. Looking at the video, this is not an example of, anybody teaching about the right to travel, anybody teaching about the policy enforcers having no jurisdiction. This is a perfect example of a sister that was fed up because, as she said in the video, that, she was already in the process of suing them. Now, mind you, if you watch the video, which is about 20 minutes long, she did not have a national identification card. She did not show them a national identification card. She showed them a driver's license. So let's get that fact very clear. She had what they wanted to see, quote unquote, what you dead-headed people think they wanted to see. And I'm not generalizing everybody, just these Facebookers who have no credibility basically with the community because they go after those who they think don't know anything, who Twitter fingers Facebook, and, that's their main source. But no, that had nothing to do with anybody except for the fact that the sister already was fed up with feeling violated, where she said in the video that the policy enforcers knew exactly what they were doing. She had encounters with them before, and she was suing them. All right? That's called retaliation.
You have delegation of, sure, okay. And a delegation of authority order.
Police officer, here
yes.
you go.
Okay.
Let me show you my
and you also have your delegation of authority order, correct?
My delegation identify. You don't have any tag on.
Sir, you have yet to identify yourself.
I'm a Baltimore County police officer.
Okay, can I see some ID, please?
What kind of ID would you like?
I would like to see a picture of you and also a delegation of, sure, okay. And a delegation of authority order. That is what authorizes you to be in. Okay, now that's not a delegation of authority order.
This is my police ID issued by Baltimore County.
I understand that.
Do you have a driver's license or not?
Sir.
There are three basic important elements of delegation, right, which we need to understand. That is authority, responsibility, and accountability. Till now we were really talking about, developing authority-responsibility relationships, defining authority and responsibility relationships. You would have noticed that these two words, authority and responsibility, they have been used simultaneously. Right? Now let's understand what is authority and what is responsibility and what is accountability. Authority is right to command. It is the right to get the work done from others. Right? That is a right of a superior to get the work done from his subordinate. That is what is authority. It is always going to flow downwards. That is from the superior to the subordinate.
Basically, delegation of authority order is a proper document. It's paper, and it basically outlines a chain of power, a chain of command. What it does is, let's say, a Supreme Court justice, or actually the entire, all of them, would sign this document, and basically they're delegating the authority as the Supreme Court to a lower court. So what that means is, without that document, legally speaking, that court has no authority or power. They are a de facto court, or I'm not sure the exact terminology, but basically they are not a proper legal court. There's some kind of they technically become fall under that corporate entity we were talking about earlier. So when this deals with police, I can only tell you what I've seen, what I have looked up. I'm sure somebody who's more familiar with this could probably fill you in more. Or again, always look at this stuff yourself, look it up, do some research. But whenever in regards to police, I believe simply the chief of police isn't enough to issue delegations of authority orders to their officers. From my understanding, it has to come from the governor or the president of the United States.
I am a Moor.
Okay.
Moors have titles.
You have a title that you're called by then.
Let me say this. Ma'am. The only one supposed to identify themselves is the person who has my child. And there's rules and law. You gave an oath to secure my inalienable, unalienable constitutional rights. You can play the police authority game with you if you want to.
I'm not playing the authority game. I'm asking you some questions.
And I'm letting you know, where's your delegation of authority order from Congress, certifiable and in writing on the public record? Where's your affidavit of fact?
Sir,
Where's your affidavit of fact?
my affidavit, how about my oath of office? It's probably on file with the county. I'm not sure where it's filed at. My affidavit, how about my oath of office? It's probably on file with the county. I'm not sure where it's filed at.
Okay, so you're letting me know you're a party to this to piracy, and you're kidnapping my child, human trafficking.
No, we're bringing your child back to you, and we're trying.
I've been seeing European children walking around here all day. No one's picked them up. They said my child has not breached the peace at all, but they picked them up. So I'm letting you know, yeah, you are useless.
What we would have to do is challenge them on the technicality that when you asked them for it at the time of the incident, they were unable to produce it. What does that mean? That means, you have an ID. You carry this as identification. The police have to have that paper, that document, that delegation of authority order, because the badge, the gun, the uniform, the patrol car are not a legal document. They obviously represent the police. That's what they're supposed to be. But legally speaking, without that paper, they're nobody. They're just a regular person. They're a security guard.
Yes. Do you have a delegation of authority?
What is a delegation of authority order? Tell me, explain that to me.
That is what authorized you to enforce the law. And
delegation, let me look for it for you real quick.
Okay. It would not be that size. And
delegation, let me look for it for you real quick.
Okay. It would not be that size.
How big would it be?
It would be something that you would have to carry.
How about my Maryland Police Training Commission certificate and
no,
training
sir.
standards?
Delegation of authority order.
So what you want to do is put the condition on them. That's why you always ask for delegations of authority order, because now you put the conditions on them.
The authority game. I'm asking you some questions.
And I'm letting you know, where's your delegation of authority order from Congress, certifiable and in writing on the public record? Where's your affidavit of fact? Where's your affidavit of fact?
And just 2 final points. Number 1, try and find somebody who is promoting the idea that state law enforcement need delegations of authority orders from Congress before Tosh Uribe promoted it on YouTube. I have not been able to find it in 6 or 7 years of research. As far as I can tell, this is something that Taj invented. And number 2, this shouldn't even need to be discussed, but no, state law enforcement do not need delegations of authority order from Congress. State law enforcement enforces state laws. They get their authority from the state and the cities that employ them and write the laws that they have to enforce. They do not get their authority from Congress. That's just insanity. That's why we have the 10th Amendment. States have their own sovereignty and they can enforce their own laws and write them.
People who are coming on Facebook now with that crap trying to attach to people who haven't studied or those who are trying to come into this. They are the results of that. How do you know for sure that a result? Only if you study the prophet's word, because he told you to enforce the Constitution. He told you that you must answer up to a national, to answer to the national Constitution, whatever your national Constitution is, all right? And the American Constitution of 1791 is the national Constitution, not the state Constitution. And so how do you know? Because in that Constitution, it tells you what states can and cannot do. It tells you their limitations, and it tells you what they can do. It tells you what Congress can do. It tells you what states can do. It tells you all of that. And it's very, very clear. If you know the history of how and why we brought these modern Europeans, which are Roman soldiers who today are called policemen, which are really municipal employees who are hired. That's why they don't have a delegation of authority, because they've never had one. And we've told that. We've said this. So now, if you knew what the Constitution was, you would know that a state has no authority to do the things that they're doing. But you don't know that because you haven't studied their national Constitution, which is where all of them derive their authority. So these people are on Facebook talking about, what's a delegation of authority? Have you ever seen one? You know, like, it's ridiculous. They're only proving to you that they are not enforcing the national Constitution that they were told and directed to do by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. There's proof right there that these people are fakers, that these people are not real sheiks and sheiks, that they hold a title. That's all they're doing. They haven't studied jack. And now they're going to come on Facebook or any other public forum talking that jack. And it's clear, even if they think they're being friends with the democracy, right, with those who are infiltrating, I'm talking about the modern Europeans, even if they think they're being friends, do you think, I want you to think about this, do you think these modern Europeans are laughing at that? They're behind the door? Of course they are, because they know what the Constitution is, and these people are supposed to be sheiks and sheikesses, and they have the direction to enforce. That means to strengthen and to answer up to a national Constitution, because it is where everyone that is on your ancestral state derives their authority. And the reason why you can't find a delegation of authority is because they don't have one, because they're operating rogue. They're killing people. And I made a great point. They've been killing people now where we see it. Nobody ever says nothing about that. Now this sister, who I can see from the video and from what she was saying, she's just fed up. She just got fed up, and she was do or die. That's the position she took. And you know what? It's not that she took that position and she wasn't sure about it. I'm not saying that she ought to have taken it. I would love to not to have seen her to have to do that. But if your sons would wake the hell up and stop being cowards, all right, and I can explain to you biologically and metaphysically why you're cowards. Because there's a plan, and always has been, for generations of our children being born, to bring you in, for the mothers to train them up the way in which they want them to be. And that's what you are.
But what I'm saying is, out of all of these people who, since y'all claim y'all black, you know what I mean? We know better. You know what I mean? We know that we're Moors, and this is all we're trying to wake people up to further uplift fallen humanity. But what I wanted to say is to try to take that particular situation where the sister exhibited courage that these dudes do not have. They don't have it in any type of fashion. All they're going to do is get on YouTube and Facebook and talk shit, excuse my expression. But that's all that's going on. I don't see no type of nothing in them. Just to sanction her son in this particular situation to forever, you know what I mean, to forever fight against this type of shit, excuse my expression. But that's what she said to us. She said, you see them, you know that they're not your friends.
Except now they're trying to survive, can't find any use for us alive, not knowing we can't die. So while they're chasing blood, snatching bodies, eating babies, and raping our minds by having sex with our kind, they can only become us with every thrust. I trust they only raise our army, and I trust that we are righteous.